I've been involved next year in the American Legion for 60 years. I was one of these Sons of the American Legion members, joining at 6 years old in Hialeah, Florida. So I know the American Legion. I'd like everybody to turn to the right and turn to the left and shake hands with the people next to them. And front and back. What's that?
You have all the time you need.
Oh, okay. Now this is an icebreaker. The reason I do this typically at our installation meeting, or at least once or twice a year, the person that you just shook hands with believes in the ideals and the principles of the American Legion. Give yourself a round of applause. Since I've been in the American Legion since 1953, and I joined the Sons of the Legion, I participated in Sullivan Babcock Post number 32, Drum and Bugle Corps. At one time, there was nationwide Drum and Bugle Corps competition. I played the soprano bugle. We went all over Florida in competition. So I had early exposure to the American Legion. This program, unfortunately, has died. It's died in the state of Texas. Fortunately, it's still available at the national competition level. But I was in Drum and Bugle Corps. Here I am 6 years later, still in the American Legion. I joined the American Legion myself in 1975 after service during Vietnam War. I've been a post commander at least one time in the last 5 decades. In the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and now 2010s. So I have at least 10, 12 years experience being a commander. 3 to 5 times I was in the largest post in Texas, Alamo Post 2 in San Antonio, Texas. I was given an opportunity by 2 leaders of our great organization. One was Ron Cherry. Second one was Joe Duarte. Is Duarte here? Joe Duarte, is he here? Would you stand up, please? Joe Duarte was a post commander, district commander, division commander. And I totally endorse his candidacy for each one of those efforts. He saw a little bit of leadership in myself. He came to me 4 years ago and said there's a post with 12 paid-up-for-life members. The post voted to close, district voted to close, division voted to close, department voted to close, went up to national. They had 12 paid-up-for-life members. National refused to close the post. What does the district commander do when you have 12 paid-up-for-life? What you do is you go out into your posts and look for a person who may be a leader, maybe a recruiter, that you might want to give the post to. That means I had to break all affiliation with Alamo Post 2 after 33 years. And it troubled me, it bothered me. But because I was in a post with 12 to 15, 1,700 members, I was used to a real large post. So I asked Joe Duarte, what do I get when I get the post? He says, well, and Joe's here to verify it, he said, all you get is this, the charter. No members, no activities, no money, no flags, no building, nothing at all. So I started at ground zero. So this is one way that we can achieve our goal within department and nationwide. Every district probably has 1 or 2 or 3 people that are key leaders in larger posts. Those people you can handpick and select to take over and revitalize a post that may close in the future. There will be a reluctance on that person. They'll wonder, why are you trying to get me out of this big post after I've been the commander 5 times? But if you look at it intrinsically, it's an opportunity. And that's what we're going to talk today. OCS, opportunity, challenge equals success. This is your blueprint for success. We have flyers out, brochures out there in the front, and please go ahead and refer to it. When I was a commander and adjutant with 12 members 4 years ago, in fact, tomorrow, that's when we had a March 4 years tomorrow, as we had our first organizational meeting with 12 people. I was the adjutant and commander. I took upon that task. He swore me into office as commander of the post. Everything was legal, everything was done properly. Our post was named Stonewall Jackson, post number 336 in the Highlands area of San Antonio. We lived near Audie Murphy Hospital. Our post is near Audie Murphy Hospital in Leon Valley, northwest part of San Antonio. I personally thought it would be better for our post to identify with the name Audie Murphy, since there was a hospital nearby, a Texas hero, most decorated World War II veteran, than Stonewall Jackson. With the Department of Texas, Judge Advocate, Adjutant, we changed the name of our post from Stonewall Jackson into Audie Murphy, post number 336. And I'm proud to say that effort, and you have to go through the Department of Texas, you have to go through Secretary of State. There's many documents that you do have to change. So if you have a name of a person or whatever who died recently or was killed in action in one of the wars, you may want to think about changing your name or including that name into your name of your post. But I think it's helped membership to say Audie Murphy Post. So I was the adjutant and commander. Now we're talking about revitalization and blueprint for success. How did this happen? Why is the Department of Texas going down in membership? Think about this. We'll take 2 states, for example. We'll say P for Pennsylvania. We'll say T for Texas. Say the Department of Pennsylvania, which their goal this year is 175,000 members. Ours is near 70. Pennsylvania for 175. So for example, if every post made goal and department made goal every year, and their goal was 100,000 members, what happens then, and they increase it by just 5% in 1 year. After the first year, you have 100,000 members. Next year, 105. Next year, 110. And after 10 years, that Department of Pennsylvania would have 150,000 members. The other hand, we could say Texas. And these are not true examples, but we're just saying you can relate your department to your post within your district. Say to Texas. 10 years ago, they started out with 100,000 members. They dropped 5,000 every year. After 10 years, then you're at 50,000. Pennsylvania's at 150,000. Do you see the disparity? That's why it's important for every post commander to always have an application with them. Everybody who has an application with them, and I hope I don't embarrass you, please raise it and wave it. And a good place to put an application is inside your cap. And I have mine here. Usually I do keep it in my cap, but this is a good pocket. Just put it right here in your cap so you don't get yourself embarrassed. So you always have an application. Nothing's more embarrassing than to being on a plane somewhere in Baltimore talking to an Air Force veteran at the airport, and you're trying to sign him up to the American Legion, and he lives in Louisville, Kentucky, and you don't have the application. Fortunately, after the National Convention, I had the application, signed him up in San Antonio, and he lives in Louisville, Kentucky. But you have to have the tools with you. We are the architects of the future of the American Legion. Everybody in here is an architect. You're going to need a willingness to work. This is hard work, sometimes boring work. If you're in a membership booth, I've been through the sun, the wind, the rain, the cold, every kind of weather you can think of. And I'm thinking here, well, I've talked to a couple of people, nobody signed up, and I've been here for an hour. Or it starts getting 105 degrees in the Texas hot sun, and you're thinking, what am I here for? But it's for the greater good, it's for the American Legion. So it will take plenty of time and effort. Also, your American Legion posts will have a very positive impact within your community. Our goal is 3,326,000. Please write this down if you have a pen or if you don't have this here. Our goal, 2019, is 3,326,657 members. And if you look at your recent copy of the Dispatch magazine that comes out, and now they are going to print them again, and the headlines over here, so they'll be online and they'll be printed copies to you. That's what the American Legion National Commander set for us, an all-time high in the American Legion. We can accept this challenge and opportunity through revitalization. Have a vision, a dream, a membership goal for the future. Try to build relationships within your community with city officials. If you're not a city official, we have a state commander who's a mayor. If you're not a city official, run for that office. Run for that city council position. Run for that mayorship. County commissioner, state senator, congressman. Run for that office. You know the importance of the American Legion. How good would it be if we had 30 elected officials? How many either council members or mayors are here right now? Raise your hands. We have probably about 12 to 15. So think about these offices. You've already gotten your leadership from the American Legion, then you can use this leadership. Years ago, a large percentage of the people in the United States Congress were veterans. They were American Legion members. At one time, 10 of the last 11 presidents were members of the American Legion. Those are in order: Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Reagan, and both Bushes. 10 of the last 11 presidents were in the American Legion. We know that Bill Clinton was president, and he was at Boys Nation. He shook hands with John Kennedy in a famous photo in 1963 in July. Rick Perry, as we know, is an American Legion member, a captain in the Air Force. He's an American Legion member. So we have to rely on your American Legion leadership to go out into the community, truly. You must become familiar with your district and state officials. We have an outstanding department. Every time I call up there, everybody's very willing to work. They're just tremendous. And make sure you communicate with your local media, which we've talked about. That's the TV, the radio, printed media. And you must have a positive attitude. There you go. See, God's signing us right now, giving us Christmas music. Establish an identity for your post. Be sure to certify your post-Legion officers early so that you can be recognized. If you get membership awards and you're not certified, you're not going to get that award. You have to do that. Use the post-consolidated report to identify programs of the American Legion. If you don't know what to do, pull out the list. What does the American Legion think is important? That's a great tool to find out what the American Legion thinks is truly important. Try to form a color guard unit, which we did. Try to form an American Legion Riders Group, which we did. In fact, our color guard unit posted the colors at the San Antonio Spurs when they played the New York Knicks and the Orlando Magic. They posted colors for the San Antonio Missions baseball during parades. Form a Riders Group, which we did. Help form a Ladies Auxiliary Unit, which we did. And a Sons of the American Legion Squadron, which we did. We don't have a bar, we don't have a building. We don't have anything. What we have is a cafeteria. We meet in the elementary school cafeteria. And if you don't have a building, and there's only about 1 out of 4 posts in Texas that do, that's not a deterrent to success at all. Sometimes it's a positive to not have a building. No electricity, no insurance, no employees, no roof leaks, no attitude. Think about things, but you have to sell whatever you don't have is a positive because we do the programs. So it's a positive sometimes if you don't have a building. But if you do have a building, make sure that you share with your Legion posts within the area that you can have some meetings and activity in your local American Legion homes. Go out and buy a large banner. I'd recommend a 3-foot high by 15-foot wide banner. Every time you're on TV or in a parade, hold that American Legion banner up. American Legion Post 336. They want to know who you are. Also buy the American Legion discs from National. They're in the emblem sales. Buy the 18-inch and the 24-inch discs and put those at the front of your city at the entrances. Most cities have 3 to 6. Our city has 18 entrances to the city that I live in. But talk to your city official and try to get the American Legion disc at the entrances to your city. That way they'll know you're in an American Legion friendly community, which we're very proud to put up. And post them at your city limits. Participate in parades, festivals, celebrations, city council meetings. Perhaps go out and buy a wreath, give it to your, and bring Santa Claus along. Bring him to the Christmas time city council meeting and present it. Make sure you identify the media so they can see you presenting a Christmas wreath to the mayor. They always enjoy that. Participate in PTA meetings. Call press conferences. Go out and find or get a credit card machine for memberships and renewals. I own a business. The younger people always have credit cards. They don't carry cash, they don't carry checks, but they usually have a credit card. So if you can have somebody in your post or your post buy even a tiny post, like we started with 12 people, right away we started taking credit cards. It's much easier, believe me, to sign up a lot of members. And when we're talking about signed up members, I sold Chevrolets and became new car sales manager for 3 years. Did very well because I was, I guess, a natural born salesman. I sold tomatoes and oranges down in Miami, Florida when I was a little kid. Later, I became Rolls-Royce sales manager for Tom Benson Rolls-Royce, and I sold Rolls-Royce for 3 years. They're about 3 times as expensive as your new Mercedes. Anyway, so I sold Rolls-Royce. But if you have a pen, make sure that when you sign up members and tell the people it costs money early on. Because I've been at booths before and then you tell them, hey, it costs $35. Whoa, then they're turned off. But early on in your presentation, make sure you tell them it costs money. It's what you've already paid to become eligible to become an American Legion member, but also it costs money to be a member. And follow up on these people after you get their names, if they don't sign that day. You take out the pen, think about a pen. Even when I was selling Chevrolets or Rolls-Royce, you could stab somebody, it could be a weapon. So what I always used to tell the people is sign right here at the check mark. If you say sign at the X, X sounds negative. Like a nursing home might sound negative. If you say your grandparents in a recovery center, that sounds positive. And you have to be positive minded. So you always have to have this pen and have the people approve on the check mark instead of whipping out a pen out of your pocket and thinking it's a weapon you're going to stab them with. So be positive-minded when you're talking to these new people. Sell the American Legion members caps. Remember on the caps, and I tell the members, nothing goes on this side. Look on your American Legion officer's guide. Nothing goes on this side. The only awards you ever get is on this side. A couple people ask me, well, what are these maps of Texas? Each one of these maps, you've heard of the silver stars for 10, gold stars for 25, the wreath is 50, and if you get a map of Texas, that represents 100 members in 1 year. So it's a little bit heavy, but it's a burden I carry. At first, we had made sure all members had the Legion caps. This year, what we're trying to do is get every member to have a name tag, and that's very important too, because some people, if they're there the first time, they don't have a name tag. And encourage your members to go out and buy a name tag. Try to make goal every year very early, perhaps before December the 20th. Why is that important? Well, first of all, your member for 2013 is going to have a 1 full year membership. Second of all, if you focus on your 2012s to get them renewed, then after January the 1st, you can start recruiting all new members for 2013. Think about the head start you're going to have, because you've already made goal, and now you can have all your efforts towards 2013. Have 3 or 4 initiations every year. Raise your hand if you've never been initiated in the American Legion. It's probably about 25%. That's imperative. And you give them the certificate of initiation. During our installation, we invited Department Commander Dan Corbin to be our installing officer. We were very proud. At that time, we gave out a POW flag to the City of Leon Valley Library, which they're flying. We gave out a Gold Star banner. We had one of our citizens in the city who died in the war in Iraq in 2006. We brought their family forward, and during the installation, during the program, we presented that family the Gold Star banner. We donated a tree, a small tree, to the family, and we're planting about a 15-foot tree for that deceased. But the people remembered the American Legion. We gave this flag and we gave this tree for this departed member of the service within our community. Once again, it's more PR within your community, which gives a strong image. Start a flag education program in your elementary schools. Attend Veterans Day ceremonies at elementary schools. Post the colors. Establish a fundraiser committee and sell wreaths, popcorn, candy, whatever you think works. Poppies, anything. The post needs the money to survive. Share your revitalization success with your members and within the community. When you hit the 500 mark, which we did last year, when you hit the 500 mark or 300 or any high number you want to establish, 50 or whatever you are, acknowledge it. Now, a mark this year is probably going to be 600, and we'll probably do that around May because we're about 4 months ahead of recruiting compared to where we were last year. In Indianapolis, I talked briefly to the national commander from New York, Fang Wong. I asked him, a one-on-one upstairs during a break during the convention, what is the main thing that you learned as being a national commander for 1 year? He said that many posts are distracted. I interpreted that to mean many posts are distracted in problems, issues, parking lot being too big or too small, plumbing problems, roof leaks, painting, squabbles within bartender and club manager, whatever. But he said too many posts are distracted. neglecting the American Legion programs. What the American Legion thinks is important is on your post-consolidated report. That's what you get awarded money for. That's what we turn ours in for. That's where we turn it into Congress. That's where our national commander goes in front of Congress and the president says, this is who we are. So if you have a post that's kind of distracted, and I don't know how you are this right now, either paying rent or whatever problems you have within the post or within the building, try to make sure you stay focused on the American Legion programs, because that's what the American Legion recognizes is very important. At general meetings, have all current members shake hands with all members and visitors. So what we do is everybody with a cap on, we try to encourage everybody to buy a cap. If they buy a cap, they're more inclined next year to renew. Why? Because they've already paid the dues, and they already have a cap on, and they've already made the investment of their dues and a cap. Well, why wouldn't you want to pay your dues? Because you already have the cap. If you don't put a cap on them next year, hey, I'm not going to join again because I don't have a cap. I'm not part of the group. I'm not part of the team. Shake hands with all these new people. Recognize them. Have them stand up. We had events such as welcome back World War II members. If you struggle to get members at your post and you know there's some World War II people there, contact the media. Say we're going to have a big welcome back World War II members. World War II members are dying approximately about 700 a day. There's only about 1.5 million of them left. So you can welcome back the World War II members, have a big media event, have your TV there, newspapers. These people may join the American Legion. Sometime in the future, they may want to think about the American Legion in their future or in their will. I mean, I'm not saying that's the reason to get them there, but that's they're trying to create a will for the future, and the American Legion would be a great organization to do it. Also, we welcome back the Korea veterans. Last March, we had the welcome back Vietnam veterans, last March. And the American Legion nationwide is recognizing all Vietnam veterans because it's the 50th anniversary of the start of the Vietnam War. So have an event, welcome back all Vietnam veterans, just one meeting. And then what you do is you bring them all up and you take a photo of them. Then you put the photos into a scrapbook. Then you enter the scrapbook into the American Legion Department History or Narrative Contest. Also, your Panama and Lebanon veterans and the Gulf War veterans. This is a great resource. Now, some people say, well, the Legion is dying, it's dead, it's forgotten. Believe me, it's not. All these young people want to have, and we want to give them the opportunity to have the same life, spirit in the American Legion that we had. So these Gulf War veterans that are 19, 20, 22, 25 years old, these are your future leaders within the American Legion because we are creating the blueprint for success. All members should have applications with them at all times in all meetings. Every once in a while, the commander or vice commander or somebody has a little bit of money in their pocket should stand up and say, I want to award every member who has an application in their pocket $1 and have them raise the application and go out and pass the dollars or one of the new coins. Remember to submit memberships about every 4 to 5 days. These members that you sign them up today and Sunday, try to get their membership card out maybe tomorrow, the very next day, and try to submit 4 or 5 or a dozen or how many ever members you get every weekend to department. They need the money. National wants to put them on the roster, and we need the membership within our department to achieve our goals. Send out monthly postcards. Now, when this post started, I'm thinking, well, how am I going to start out with 12 people and I'm number 13? How am I going to get people to do anything? I don't have a printer. It's going to cost too much for envelopes and stamps and letters and printing. Go out and buy a postcard. These cost $31. I think now they're 33 cents a piece. So we send out over 400 postcards every month, just like clockwork. You're in their house once a month. And then you get the emails. It's going to save you a lot of money if you can get their email addresses. but send out postcards. It doesn't have to be a big elaborate newsletter, which costs a lot of money to even label and stamp and all those other things. But if you put it in a postcard, you get in the door, it gives them the message, and there's nothing there that should be that private anyway. So maybe try the postcards compared to newsletter. But if you don't communicate with your members, they say, well, what do I get out of the American Legion membership? Establish an active website. I think it's Post 77 got the Department of Texas award this year. Was it Post 77 from Houston? Is somebody from Post 77 here? No? They won the award. Please look at their website. If they won if they're not here, that's okay because we can talk about them. But look at their website, Post 77, won the Department of Texas website. You can get ideas of how to create a website. Look at theirs. Establish a website. That's going to help. Set up membership booths at your area businesses, which we've already spoken about before. If you own a business and you have a lot of foot traffic, that's a great place. Contact not renewed members. These are people that maybe from another post that didn't renew. Those are kind of open game. As we said earlier, contact the Post 345 members in the area. And it's going to take money, it's going to take time, it's going to take effort. Offer a free prepaid 2014 membership. In September, which we did this year, in September, October, and November, we offered a free prepaid 2014 membership if they were early bird member. In other words, they've already paid their dues for 2013, and if they were there, didn't have to be there, for the 2014 membership. So they're prepaid for 2013, and you have a drawing. So it encourages the people to pay their dues early, and then you pick out one in September, one in October, one in November. That year, the Post is going to pay for their 2014 membership. Do you think that encourages people to get their dues in? Sure. But it's open to early bird members only. In May, offer a current year membership at a reduced rate. For example, department charges in national $26. What we do is we sign them up in May or June. We sign them up that year, 2013, for $26 if they prepay their future dues in advance, like in May. So every year we start out in July, June or July, the first transmittal, I may have 35 or 40 or 50 people that have already paid for 2014. Because when you sign up somebody in May, you know they're going to get their dues renewal notice starting in July. So if you reduce them in the dues for the month of May for 2013, they're going to think, well, hey, this is a bargain, 2 for 1. So for $61, they get 2013 and 2014 dues. And it works. Encourage members to be a PUFL, Paid Up for Life member. Why you want them to be a Paid Up for Life member is they don't have to worry about any dues increase by department or by national. They don't have to keep getting those notices, which costs a lot of money from national. You know, you send out 3 or 4 or 5 dues renewal notices a year by national. That costs them a lot of money. So if you can get your members to be a Paid Up for Life member, those people are already in your bank. Those you can bank on them because you already know that you have a resource of about 25 to 50 people Paid Up for Life members. Also, encourage all members to take the American Legion Extension Institute course, a new one. You can learn a wealth of knowledge about the history, background, who our founders were, what they've done, what the history of the American Legion was, what we're looking for in the future, what are our programs. But you have to be very knowledgeable if you're going to sell this product to any new members. And also, if you're going to be a post commander, you better know what the difference is in the VFW and the American Legion. Of course, we're the largest one, about 2.5 up to 3 million members. The first one, the largest one, created the GI Bill. These are things that we can always very quickly remember and say. VFW, any one of these organizations, veterans organizations, we do similar events, but we're there to help the veterans. Any member, if you're eligible for the VFW, go ahead and join, or Purple Heart, or DAV, or 48, or Anavicus. Any one of the organizations that you can be in, join them after you pay your American Legion dues. Remember to enjoy yourself, have fun, go to sporting events, casinos, football games, community events with your new American Legion members. I'll give you one parting thought. Because remember, successful post-revitalization is the only option. And you may be the person who signs up a future American Legion National Commander. Thank you.